There is a strange kind of suffering that doesn't look like suffering at all. You have the job, the phone, the plans, the comfort. From the outside, everything is fine, but inside, something is missing. Not sadness, not pain, something deeper. A quiet emptiness that no one else can see. And the most disturbing part is this. You can't explain it, even to yourself, because nothing is technically wrong. That is where the real danger begins. You wake up in a safe world. You scroll through lives that look more exciting than yours. You chase goals that once felt meaningful, but now feel automatic. Work, eat, sleep, repeat. And slowly, without noticing, life becomes something you manage, not something you feel. You are present everywhere, except inside yourself. This is the exact problem a French philosopher once quietly exposed. A woman who refused fame, refused comfort, refused illusion. Simone Weil believes something most people still avoid hearing, that modern emptiness does not come from having nothing. It comes from being surrounded by things that do not touch the soul. Weil called it rootlessness, a state where a human being is no longer anchored to meaning, truth, or inner necessity. And in today's world, that rootlessness has become normal. You are constantly connected, but rarely grounded. Constantly informed, but rarely aware. Constantly entertained, but rarely fulfilled. It is a life full of input, but empty of presence. And here is where it gets uncomfortable. Because emptiness is not always a problem to solve. Sometimes, it is a signal that you are living at the surface of your life, not in it. Think about modern America. The average person is surrounded by more opportunity than any generation in history. More food, more entertainment, more access, more convenience, but also more exhaustion, more anxiety, more disconnection. Because when everything becomes available, nothing feels necessary. And when nothing feels necessary, life loses weight. Weil believed that attention is sacred, not productivity. Not success, not achievement. Attention, the ability to truly be present with reality without escaping it. But today, attention is constantly stolen. Notifications interrupt thought. Algorithms shape desire. Screens replace silence. And without silence, you never hear your own existence. So you keep moving. You try to fix the emptiness the only way society teaches. More goals, more consumption, more distraction, more identity. But it never works. Because you are trying to fill a spiritual problem with physical solutions. And it doesn't matter how perfect life looks on the outside, if nothing is touching you on the inside. There is a moment most people recognize but rarely talk about. You are in a room full of people, maybe laughing, talking, living, and suddenly you feel distant. Like you are behind glass, present, but not connected. That is not loneliness. That is disconnection from meaning itself. Weil would say something unsettling here. That suffering is not always something to escape. Sometimes, it is something that reveals truth. And the truth is this. You cannot remove emptiness by adding more noise. You can only face what the noise has been hiding. Modern life teaches you to avoid discomfort at all costs. If you feel empty, distract yourself. If you feel lost, rebrand yourself. If you feel tired, consume more stimulation. But what if emptiness is not the enemy? What if it is the first honest thing you have felt in a long time? Because beneath the emptiness, there is usually something else. A neglected desire for meaning. A forgotten need for depth. A quiet longing for something real. Not impressive. Not visible. Not profitable. Just real. And this is where Weil becomes radical. She believed that meaning is not created by ambition. It is discovered through attention, suffering, and truth. Not suffering as punishment, but suffering as clarity. The kind that strips away illusion. Look at your daily life. How many moments are truly experienced, and how many are just consumed? Even happiness today is often interrupted. You take a photo before you feel it. You post before you process it. You move on before it settles. Nothing stays long enough to become real. And slowly, the mind learns something dangerous. It learns to chase intensity instead of depth. Because intensity feels like life. But depth requires stillness. And stillness is what modern life avoids the most. This is why the emptiness grows even in success. Because success without presence becomes another form of noise. You achieve more, but feel less. You gain control, but lose connection. And eventually, you start asking a question you can't ignore. Why does none of this feel like enough? Weil would not answer with motivation. She would not say be positive or be grateful. She would point you back to attention, to the ability to look at your life without escaping it, not to fix it immediately, but to truly see it. Because in seeing clearly, something shifts. The illusion of fullness begins to break. And beneath it, something more honest appears. Not happiness, not sadness, but truth. And truth is not always comfortable, but it is real. So if you feel empty even when life looks perfect, it may not be a failure. It may be awareness, arriving late. A signal that something in you still refuses to live on the surface. And maybe the question was never, how do I fill this emptiness? Maybe the real question is, what part of my life have I never truly paid attention to? Because in the end, emptiness is not the absence of life. It is the absence of presence. And presence is where everything begins again. If this feeling resonates with you, you are not alone in it. But the way out is not louder noise. It is deeper attention, and once you start seeing your life clearly, you may realize it was never empty, just waiting to be felt.